All right. Hey, everyone on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. We are doing this awesome presentation about going from nothing to your first 100 sales on Etsy in your first 3 weeks or over the next 3 weeks. So stick with us. We are going to be diving into this presentation and we will drop the link here. If you know, maybe you can't stay the whole time, you want to come to the one tomorrow, we will have an encore of this tomorrow. So we will put the link there for you. Okay. All right, let's get this other window open. Marketing team. Okay, here. All right, I think we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Let us know where you are from. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead and put where you are from in the chat. So excited to have you here. On this Monday, we're going to be diving into this awesome training on going from 0 to 100 sales, talking about how to kickstart your Etsy shop in just 3 weeks. Really, the process we'll go through is how to launch, how to list, and how to land those first 100 sales on Etsy, even if you are starting from scratch. All right, we have Stacy from Minnesota, Marcia from Kansas, North Carolina, Hawaii, California, Oregon. Great. You guys are ready to go. Bulgaria, I think you win for furthest away. England. Great. All right. Super excited to have you here. Let's be efficient with our time and jump right in. And if you're here, you are probably wanting to start an Etsy shop, or maybe you already launched and maybe it's not going the way that you hoped. So today I'll be walking you through my 3-step system that has helped thousands of beginners go from being stuck to then making their first $1,000 on Etsy or their first 100 sales, often in less than a month. And the best part of this is you do not have to be crafty or tech savvy or have a huge following. Here we go. All right, so you might be wondering, is this for me? All right, so this is for you if you are wanting to start on Etsy, but you're feeling overwhelmed. If you've launched a shop, but your sales are kind of dead, or if you're just scared of messing this up. And I would say if you're a dreamer, or maybe if you're overthinking, maybe if you're a perfectionist, you want to be successful, but it's just right, it doesn't feel like it's happening yet, or you want the clear steps to make it happen, this is for you. And if you've been watching YouTube videos or binging TikToks or kind of lurking in Facebook groups, no, you don't have to do that anymore. This can be your roadmap. All right, so let's talk about why you might still be struggling right now. Most new sellers, they launch on Etsy without a clear strategy, right? They'll watch a couple YouTube videos and then open a shop. They'll copy what they already see on Etsy and they'll think, if I do what that successful person is doing, or if I sell what they sell, then I will be successful too. And then also most new sellers often get shadow banned before they ever get seen. Now, the key here is this is not your fault. This is how most sellers launch, and this is why most sellers struggle. They launch the wrong way. They list too many products. They copy other listings or other shops, and they unknowingly can trigger Etsy's shadow ban filters. And that's why so many shops stay invisible. Yes, this is live, Taryn. All right. Can you relate to any of this right now? Let me know in the chat if you can relate to this. Okay. So welcome if we have not met before. My name is Jahraus. I've been in e-commerce for over 13 years. I scaled to over $1 million in profit on Etsy before I ever started teaching this. And now I've scaled my private coaching program to a 41-person company. We've helped over 4,000 sellers generate over $27 million a month in their total combined revenue. And that's just on the Etsy platform. I also launched a software company called Etsio. And this is an SEO tool that has helped Etsy sellers get found. So I also want to share, I'm a mom. Okay, so I have 2 little kids, I have a husband, and I have a lot going on, right? I'm not an artist. So if you are thinking, oh, I'm too busy for Etsy or I'm not creative enough, I promise you, you can do this. Okay, so when I started, let me share a little bit of my backstory here. I opened a shop. I was excited. I thought this was going to work. I thought it was kind of like Craigslist, like you threw something up there and then someone messages you and wants it. Little did I know that was far from the truth. And I opened my shop with big goals. I wanted to be providing for myself with all these different side hustles I was doing. I was having a really hard time finding a job. I was newly married and I had a successful corporate career, but we moved to a place where that industry just wasn't very prevalent. So e-commerce wasn't big in San Diego where we moved to. And I was trying to piece together my finances with all these side hustles, and Etsy was just one of them. But in my first 2 months, I only got 1 sale. Okay. I thought, "Oh, what's going on here?" I thought I was doing this right. I was picking things that looked trendy to sell. I was looking at other people's shops and I thought, well, my listings look very similar to theirs. How are they getting so many sales? But here's what I didn't know. I didn't know that it's not about creating a ton of listings or copying what's already popular. It's really about launching with a system that works. And getting that visibility, it's really not luck. It's all strategy. And when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no audience. I wasn't some influencer. I didn't have a design degree. I did not have a ton of spare time, but I figured out the right system by taking all those corporate e-commerce principles and applying them to Etsy. And I have helped thousands of students use this same blueprint to go from nothing to replacing their income or to providing for their families. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about timing. Let's talk about the timing and why this really is the best time to start. So people think, is it too saturated? Is it too late? Should I have started 5 years ago and maybe it's not worth it right now? Let me tell you, Etsy is evolving and it is rewarding new original sellers. Even their algorithm is rewarding newer sellers. They're no longer having the first page of search being one shop that has a bunch of bestseller listings. They are really giving shops a chance to shine. And early traction is easier now than it will be later. You don't need to be hopping on a big trend, but you do need to have the right timing and a plan in place. So the idea here is to get started now so that by the end of the year, you are in a completely different place. 2025, it really is your moment on Etsy, right? Etsy's favoring those fresh, kind of unique creators. And if you learn how to stand out in search results and avoid shadow bans, you can really carve out a nice space for yourself before the next wave hits. Okay, so let's assess your situation a little bit. I wanna learn a little bit more about what your situation is. Go ahead and comment me in the chat, or let me know which one relates to you. Did you open a shop, or has opening a shop been on your to-do list for like 3 months or more? Is opening a shop on your list? You haven't done it yet, but you know you want to. Yeah, anyone? Have you bought templates or courses or something that would help you open a shop, but you haven't really used them yet? Are you scared to mess this up? Are you kind of paralyzed? Are you afraid the whole thing is going to get messed up? Have you made a listing maybe in your shop and then kind of panicked and stopped? And you have like a couple listings up or one listing up and you're kind of frozen. Okay. Or have you just been Googling or maybe YouTubing or TikToking? Is that a verb? TikToking, and you were just going down rabbit holes of tips and tricks and hacks and clickbait videos, and you're just guessing and you're tired of it. Okay, if any of those kind of hit you or struck a chord with you, you are in the right room. Okay, so I want to talk to you about this big idea here because we want to simplify it. If I just bombard you with a ton of information and tactics, that's going to be overwhelming. So the big idea here is that you do not need ads or a big following. You really just need a launch system. So by the end of this training, you will know how to launch your Etsy shop the right way, not guessing, not throwing spaghetti at the wall. You'll know how to create listings that actually rank from day one. You'll know how to build a simple product system that will lead to consistent sales. You'll be able to avoid some of those rookie mistakes that keeps your shop invisible. And you'll go from ideas to your first 100 sales fast. Now, I say fast, and what I mean by that is faster than you otherwise would, because it's all relative. So you don't need ads, followers, or design skills for this. All right. So we're going to talk about the Kickstart method here. So the Kickstart method is really simple, it's strategic, and it's built to get results quickly. Okay. The whole idea is, number one, we want to launch correctly, so launching right. Number two, creating listings with the intention that they will rank. That's the whole idea behind creating a listing, because we need to get it seen, right? And then third is selling to scale, because we're not trying to make a quick buck. If you wanted to do that, you'd be out driving Uber right now, right? This is about scaling and being sustainable and being able to grow and have really some strong legs on it so it can run for a while. That's the whole idea behind this. So this is our Kickstart method. Okay, so let's talk about the first step, which is launching right. You do not need to be crafty here or even creative. It's more important to be strategic. So if you are thinking, I don't know if Etsy's the right platform for me, I'm not a creative, I'm not a crafty person, that's fine. You do not need to be crafty or creative, but you do need to be strategic or willing to learn how to be strategic. So what we want to launch with, these are important components, are number one, a dynamic product mix. That means not all the same things. We're not doing a one product shop. We're not even doing a one customer shop. We need to have different listings in the shop that have different purposes for you. And we'll get into what that looks like. Okay, so not a one product shop. We need multiple products, different products that have different purposes. Sometimes the purpose of a listing, it's simply to drive up your order number. With something like that, that would be a loss leader. Okay, a loss leader. And the whole idea, we're not going to lose money on anything, but it's lower price point, lower margin. The whole idea is to get people in the door. Like, does anyone know about the Costco chickens? Costco chickens at the back of the store, $4.99. Sometimes there's a line, people waiting to get those when the deli brings them out. Costco chickens are a great example of a loss leader. You need some things like Costco chickens in your shop just to get people in. That's not going to pay the mortgage, however. So we need other listings that will drive up revenue and your profitability. The next thing we need to launch with outside of a dynamic product mix is proven ideas from outside of Etsy. Notice I didn't say proven ideas that came from your mind. Okay, proven ideas from your head, proven ideas that came from your mom. Like, these are proven ideas that came outside of Etsy. And the whole idea here is that Etsy is one of the very last places to get trends. So we don't want to be copying what's already on Etsy because you're 6 to 8 months too late. So if anyone who gives Etsy advice has told you, go to Etsy and look at what's selling, and then you should sell that too. No way. Like, run away from that advice, because that's chasing other people's success. That's chasing other people's shops. And how do you plan to compete if you have no track record, no social proof, when you're next to someone in search results with 5,000 reviews, 50,000 orders, and an amazing design, and you tried to make a cheaper copy of it? How will you compete? That is not the game we're playing. We're building a business here. So proven ideas from outside of Etsy, not your head, not what, oh, I thought of this idea, or I thought of this funny saying. Maybe no one else will think it's funny. That's the hard truth. We need to really establish product market fit. So we have ideas that are proven to align with your profitable customer segments. Okay. We'll have time for questions. Do not worry. But whatever you do, don't launch with your own ideas that you thought were funny or cute. Make sure that your customer also aligns with those ideas. And then the third step is tying right into that, and that is focusing on the customer's needs. So we're not thinking, oh, I like this. I would buy this. It doesn't matter if you would buy it, right? So oftentimes we don't want to sell to people just like ourselves. We want to sell to profitable customers. And unless you feel that you are the most profitable customer that you would want to rely on for your income and your livelihood, I recommend looking to other types of customers that are not you. Okay, we'll have time for questions. Do not worry. So let's get into some of the rules of the launch. Would some rules and structure be helpful right now? Yes. Okay. Sounds like yes. Okay. So our launch rules are this, and these are really the rules of the road, the name of the game here. 7 purposes in your product. So we actually have 7 different types of products to have in the shop, not one product, not one type. The loss leader, that was one. We're not filling the shop with loss leaders, however. The next step, you'll notice we're not filling it with loss leaders. However, we are front loading with loss leaders, which just means when you are launching in the very beginning, we want to have a good ratio of loss leaders. That might mean half of your listings are loss leaders in the very beginning. This is not the long-term product mix. However, this is the launch product mix. Then we're going to look at trend forward platforms and brands, not Etsy, because it's 6 to 8 months late. So we're looking at, where do the trends start? Where do they surface? Where do they show up before they get to Etsy? So for me, my background in corporate e-commerce, I was a buyer. I did buying and product development, and this meant I was the first person to know about trends. So our buyers, we go to Fashion Week, we go to markets, we go to trade shows. We know what is being manufactured, what is being designed even before it's manufactured, months and months and months before it ever gets to the first retailer, the first store. So that skill of trend forecasting taught me so much about where to find trends, how to identify them, how to know what your customer will want. And that is what we are experts in teaching. And then we're going to build the product mix around a profitable customer. Now, go ahead and put in the chat, do you feel like you are targeting a profitable customer in your shop? Yes or no? Do you feel like you're targeting a profitable customer? Do you even know who a profitable customer is right now? This is someone who has higher discretionary income. Their spending habits don't change. When the stock market crashes, they keep spending the same amount buying the same brands at the grocery store. Okay, some of you feel like you're targeting a profitable customer. Very interesting. If you were targeting a profitable customer, you most likely wouldn't be here. And what we find is we have a whole Pinterest exercise that takes you through the process of aligning your shop with a profitable customer. And this is a Pinterest exercise. And what we find is that most of the time, the intention was to target a profitable customer, but about 95 to 99% of the time, the execution didn't target them. Okay, SEO is a huge part of targeting profitable customers. The intention doesn't really matter. It's only the execution of if we successfully targeted profitable customers. Okay, we'll have time for questions, don't worry. Okay, I want to show you a little story here about someone who just started an Etsy shop. Okay. She started a shop in mid-November of last year. By the end of December, her name's Shelby, she got her first 46 sales. Now, in March, she had over 1,000 orders, 8,500 in revenue, and she started with one idea, implemented quickly, took advice, implemented that feedback quickly, broke her goals, and this is really the power of launching right. So you can see, January, she already had 400 orders. March, 8,500 in that month in revenue, 489 orders, hit 1,400 orders by March, and that's starting a shop in mid-November. A lot of people ask me, what does good look like? What's a good goal? I always say a good goal is 100 sales a month when you're starting out. Just for some context, 100 sales a month when you're starting out. And she had an 8-month-old and a 21-month-old. So if anyone would have had an excuse, right, you could have said, hey, I have two under two, it's not happening. I'm gonna have to go really slow here. But look at her, right? She didn't let that control the outcome. She probably used her kids as fuel and as motivation to really drive forward. Okay, so that is, for context, what a good goal would be when you're starting out. Now let's talk about the second step. We talked about launching and the key components of launching, but let's talk about listing, because it doesn't matter if you launch a bunch of products. If no one sees them, if you're not showing up in search results, that whole thing was pointless, right? A huge waste of time. So we're going to talk about listing to rank, and this is where we get into SEO. Now, SEO does not have to be complicated. Hang on. Okay. SEO does not have to be complicated. We can simplify it. If we make it too complicated, you'll never get it. So let's simplify this so it's easy to understand. Most sellers think that SEO comes later. They list the products and they think, I'll figure out the SEO later. But it doesn't, because Etsy gives your shop a natural boost in your first 30 to 45 days. And that is your golden window. So you want to launch optimized listings that rank from day one with simple, straightforward, accurate SEO. So what does an optimized listing look like? There's probably about 30 to 40 components of an optimized listing, but the one component that has to be there, otherwise none of this matters, is SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So we want SEO-rich titles and tags, alt text descriptions as well. Okay, so SEO needs to be customer focused, and we'll get into what that looks like and the difference. It needs to also have a strong value proposition. So the listing, its value proposition needs to be stronger than the best sellers. So what is a value proposition? Okay, in order to be successful on Etsy and get your first 100 sales, you've got to know what a value proposition is. And this really is the combination of your listing photo, your thumbnail, and your price point. You have to win with both. Winning with one is not enough. And that means packing your listing photo, your thumbnail, with value, stacking that with value. And then that combination of the photo and the price point that shows in search results, you want to win with that combination. And then last, we want to talk about merchandising. Site merchandising that will build trust. Now, site merchandising is something that not many people who teach Etsy talk about. However, it is critical for a long-term e-commerce business to thrive. Site merchandising is actually an entire department of online retailers. So when I worked for Zappos, we had a site merchandising department. We had directors, we had managers, we had huge teams of site merchandisers. It is a very important role that helps the lifetime value of the customer, your conversion rates, your average order value, and at the end of the day, that customer loyalty that will allow your business to thrive long-term. So let's get into some of these optimization secrets now. We'll have a time for questions very soon. Don't worry, save your questions here. So the key here with optimizations, and I'm going to smash some preconceived notions right now. Let's smash some myths and light them on fire. Number one is to start with one listing. You only need one listing. People wait to launch their shop until they have 10 or 20 listings. Publish the first listing. Get that one out of the way. Start with one listing. Do not wait. Do not delay. The next thing is SEO that is customer focused and not product focused. This is the biggest mistake that I see with SEO, hands down. People will label the product what the product is. They'll create a title as if it's eBay. eBay titles, Etsy titles, completely different. We want your SEO to be product focused, purpose focused, solution focused. So instead of, right, for my shop, it was a flower, letter, wood base, right? A fake flower letter on a wood base. You might think that's what Dylan sold. That's what the product is. No, this is actually a baby shower gift for a first-time mom. That's what it is. So it's focused on the customer and the occasion and the event. Or it's over the crib personalized name sign. Okay, it might just be one letter, but I know the placement of it. It's going over the crib, and they're going to put a bunch of the letters together to spell a name, so now it's a full name sign. So we're assigning purpose and utility and customers and occasions to the product. We're not just describing what it is. Because the person who's looking for a baby name sign, they are not thinking, oh yes, it's going to be a wooden name sign with fake flowers on it. That's the afterthought. They didn't think of that. They didn't even maybe know that was available. So because people might not automatically know that your product is available, right? They're just searching for the solution that they need. And that might be a baby name sign or a gift for a first-time mom. Next, we're talking about your price point in your photo, that thumbnail photo. It must win in search. So when I'm talking about this, it means both have to be a winning combination here. So your price point has to be compelling. If your price point is any higher than the best sellers or the person who's ranking at the top of search right now, your photo better back that up. For example, if you had candles, maybe the person who is at the top of search, they are showing one candle for $19.99. Well, if you want to price your candle competitively and really truly win in search results, I would say $18.99 and have 3 candles in the thumbnail image. That is an example of a winning value proposition. Now, that's not the only part that matters with a photo, is the quantity of the items. Right? It might still be, maybe, let's say 1 candle, but a stronger photo, stronger branding, more elevated, more editorial. And then let's talk about site merchandising. I do see a couple questions about site merchandising. And what is site merchandising? It's basically how we lead a customer through our shop and through our listing. That increases the average order value and the lifetime value of the customer. It gets people to spend more money with you. AOV and LTV are 2 levers you want to become an expert in pulling, especially as you get to those first 100 sales and beyond. So we want people to spend more money. We don't want just to chase individual transactions. We want to acquire one customer and then to sell them a lot of stuff, basically. So we're leading them on a customer journey through the shop. Let me show you an example of how this listing to rank strategy really came into play. This is Clarabelle. You can see her stats here. She joined us actually just recently on July 4th. She followed the SEO in Module 3 and had her first sale on Etsy on 12/23. And then yesterday was her first 17 order day. So she did $981 in one day. She used our SEO framework for Module 3 and saw immediate traction, 17 orders in a day. How would that feel? How would that feel, right? All right. Any questions so far? Let me open this up for questions. Go ahead and feel free to put questions in the in the chat. Go ahead and put questions in the chat. Also, what are your takeaways or ahas? Anyone having like an aha moment right now? Go ahead and put that in the chat. I would say, biggest piece of feedback while you're putting in your takeaways or your questions or any aha moment you're having, uh, the biggest theme that I see is about 7-ish days after someone starts implementing these strategies. It's the shock of, I had no idea I was doing this all wrong. I had no idea. Someone is asking, this is for handmade products, correct? No, Jennifer, this is for digital, for print on demand, for handmade, for designed by a seller, for hand-picked, for sourced, for vintage, supplies, every category this applies. Yes, this definitely applies to digital products and print on demand. About half of our sellers do digital, and about 60% sell print on demand or incorporate that into their shops. Okay, let's see here. What does shadow ban mean? To be shadow banned, another word would be canceled. Right, canceled. We all know what it means to be canceled now in this culture. Shadow banned basically means that in your first 30 to 45 days, if you are not showing Etsy that people like your stuff, as you create more listings after the first 30 to 45 days, Etsy assumes, hey, people didn't really like their stuff for the first month and a half. They're probably not going to like this new stuff either. So it's kind of where Etsy creates an assumption and chooses not to surface you higher in search, because if history showed them anything, it's that people didn't really want your stuff. So over time, as you go on further and further and further, and as your traffic and your sales are low, Etsy assumes that people aren't going to want the new stuff you put out, even if the new stuff was better than the first stuff. What is AOV and LTV? AOV is average order value. It's how much money someone spends in a transaction. You could see it like a shopping cart, right? Did you go to Target and you bought one thing from the dollar section? Or did you go to Target and you loaded it up with 50 things and it's $500 later? There you are. That's a higher average order value. You could think of it like a cart value. LTV is the lifetime value of the customer. So let's use Target as the example. How much money does someone spend at Target in their lifetime? They might go to Target and one time spend $50, but little do we know, they go every week and spend $50. So the lifetime value of the customer, because they keep coming back, that goes up and up and up. So we didn't just acquire a customer for one transaction or one shopping trip, but they kept coming back. Okay, so some big takeaways, the eBay listing versus Etsy listing. Yes, big, big, big difference. Let's see here. Okay, we'll have more times for questions. Don't worry. We'll come back for more questions. I want to get into the third principle here, and this is selling to scale. We'll do more questions right after this, but getting to your first 100 sales, it's truly about systems and strategy. You really need scalable product families that help buyers come back for more. And this really means thinking ahead, not just to sell more transactions, but to really scale with a compounding effect. And this is where we're doing what I call building scalable product families. Consistency is going to win here more than trend hopping. So we're not just chasing down the new trend or the new holiday. We are really building scalable product families. And what this means is a mix of price points. We want welcoming entry-level price points. We want higher price points. We want price points for every giftable category you can imagine. We also want to leverage Etsy's creativity push. This means combining categories. When I started listing all those categories, did you all know about all of them? Right? Designed by a seller, We have digital and print on demand. We have made by a seller. We have altered items. We have handmade. We have sourced by a seller. That means like vintage supplies. We have handpicked by a seller, right? Themed collections. We have curated by a seller. We have all these different categories we can sell in now. And if you're not leveraging multiple categories, you're really, really missing out. So I'll talk about this in a moment, but our fastest growing shops who get to that 100 sales and who get to that 200 sales and 1,000 sales and 10,000 sales the fastest, they're not relying on one creative category. They're combining them strategically. We'll talk about how to do this in a second. Okay. And the whole idea here is we are thinking about the life cycle, not just trends. So this comes down to the life cycle of a customer and also the life cycle of a listing. The whole idea here is we want to build what I call power listings, listings that have $20,000 potential in their revenue history. So we want to be publishing listings that really have the potential to get to at least 20K. And that will help you really cement your position at the top of search. So one of our big focuses is creating power listings. Okay, I see some great questions coming up. I'm going to explain this a little bit more. Okay, so how do we ensure scalability from day one? We do that in a couple ways. First, combining categories for the fastest growth. So someone asked in the chat, does this mean you have to have quite a bit of inventory on hand? Great question. Jennifer, you need no inventory. You need zero inventory. Okay, how do we do that? You might ask. Okay, you could be doing digital, you could be doing print on demand, and you could even be doing made to order, handmade, hand-picked, or altered items. And we have an Amazon Prime strategy that is killer for this, where you don't have to carry any inventory. Yes. Okay, so combining categories for the fastest growth. Because let's be real, we're building this business not to try to control our lives, but to give our lives freedom. A lot of you want that freedom to travel, that location freedom, that time freedom. You want to be making money while you sleep. So we want some listings that will make money while you sleep, that will make money while you're traveling. And then some of you want really high margin items that are super high AOV. That might require altered, handpicked, or sourced. Right? That might require inventory. So that could mean you have some items that you are selling when you're not traveling, when you are home for a while. And we can pull levers by turning on and off categories based on the season of our life. Okay, I see so many great questions coming in. I once worked with a dentist. It was actually a couple, and I think they were both dentists. And they did this thing where in Australia, they did this van life thing. Have you guys heard of that? Like this van life thing where in their summertime, they would travel in this van. And then during, I think the school years or the winter or something, they would then be at like a home base. So they had physical products they would sell while they're at their home base. And then other products like digital and print on demand and certain items that you are allowed to drop ship when they were doing van life. So we want a combination that is really, really scalable from day one. Now, the thing is, scalability from day one also is going to relate to your pricing. And pricing is not something you are married to. You're not locking in your pricing on day one and committing to it. We are changing our pricing as needed that reflects the stage of the business that we're in. And that is totally okay, and that is totally normal. You can control your pricing. And we have to remember that. And then we also talk about building the shop with really the outcome in mind. So time freedom, financial freedom, team building, whether it's an exit strategy, location freedom, having a legacy business that you can pass down. We want to ensure that your business is scalable and fits into your desired outcome. Right? Are you looking to sell this business? Are you looking to pass it on to your kids? Or are you looking for a laptop lifestyle where you can go to Bali, or you could go to, I don't know where, right? and work from there, right? What is on your list? What's on that bucket list? What are those locations? And then we also want to think about our hourly wage focus for profitability. Your business will not be scalable if you're not pricing for hourly wage. And that is exactly how we price our products. We look at how many minutes went into each transaction, even if it's digital, and we look at our hourly wage to make sure, hey, this is worth our time. One of you I talked to a couple weeks ago, and we realized you're making like less than $2 an hour. And is this really worth your time? It'd be more worth your time to do grocery delivery or to drive Uber. You're making less than $2 an hour. That's not scalable. We can't replace your income with that. So we focus on hourly wage with our pricing strategies. And then this is one of the biggest things that we are, I would say, just serious experts in every business that we've built. And this is exhausting organic. And that means not paying for ads. So that means Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the organic platforms we want to get to first and completely exhaust the traffic driving strategies there first. Now, Christina is a great example of how we did this. And she's a client who went all in, daily action, smart SEO, really data-driven decisions. And she scaled to 15K a month. And at the end, you can see she shares not doing any ads has been helping because more of the money she's keeping. And you can just see her experience with us. All right. Now, a few more wins I want to share here. Momentum matters. Okay. Momentum wins and momentum matters. You can see Eiling, she woke up to 500 sales. Praise God. Since starting the program in January, there's been many moments of doubts, but this was a joyful reminder to trust the process and continue getting 1% better every day, like Dylan says. And then you can see Dominique hit 700 sales, but next stop was 1,000 for her. So once you dial in the method, it really does build and snowball quickly. And it's because these are not tips or tricks or flukes. These are systems, following systems. Okay, so let's recap here. Are you still with me? Any questions? Okay, no Etsy ads needed. Absolutely no Etsy ads needed. So to recap the Kickstart method, launching right, listing to scale, and then, or launching right, listing to rank, and then selling to scale. And when you do these three things, you're not just avoiding invisibility, but you're actually building that momentum. Okay, what questions do we have? What questions do we have here? Oh my goodness. Someone over on YouTube said, I made my first 100 sales on Etsy, but it took a year. Now what? How to scale. If it took you a year to get to 100 sales, I can confidently say you likely have a negative shop quality score unless 80% of those came in the last 30 days. Okay. If 80% of those didn't come in the last 30 days, we need to really build momentum. How do you sell without ads? Okay, this is very interesting. Most of our clients who come in, they turn ads off immediately once they update their listings. And if you have the right SEO and the right traffic driving strategies that are free, you do not need to rely on ads. Out of our top 20 sellers, and they go all the way up to 8 million per year, 19 out of 20 don't touch ads. Okay. Can you get unshadow banned or do you need to start over? Yes, you can get unshadow banned. It's kind of like pushing your shop, when it's stuck in the mud, pushing it out of the mud. Okay. How do you find a good product? You find a good customer, right? And then we do that customer research. So we start with the customer and then we look at how we can serve them in many areas of their life. So it's a customer research process. See here. Let's see. Okay. We will come back for more questions. Now, if you are thinking, how do I know that this is going to work? We have been helping people for almost 3 years, and we have over 3,000 testimonials. A lot of you have seen it. These people, though, you guys, You can look at them here. They're not influencers. Right? These are busy moms. These are people with full-time jobs. These are everyday people who decided to start with our methods and to give them a shot. And now they're getting daily orders, they're hitting new milestones, and they're really building real income. So you can see Alyssa on the left, she went from 1,800 a month to then 16,000, over 16,000 in a month. We see Annalise, who did a couple months of 66,000 and 117,000. And then Chandler went from 24,000 this past year to then being on track for 160,000 in a year. So these are normal people. Some of them you can see this person here I went and visited. I've even visited them in their homes. This person had a $90,000 week and she started just doing a couple $100s a month. That's where she started. Georgina did over 12,000 in a month. Her next goal is 15,000. Dawn was on track for a 50K month just in November. And she shares she's exhausted, right? I'm exhilarated and I'm exhausted. It's hard work. It's hard work. And then Jenna on the right, she does print on demand, 35K in a month. Okay, so how do you know you can count on these strategies working? Because I think something big that holds us back is, well, what if it doesn't work? 94% success rate, right? Say no more. 94% success rate. That means that 94% of people have either hit their financial goals or feel that they are now on track to hit their financial goals with these strategies. Okay, and these are people who were in your exact shoes. Okay, and that's because these are business principles. These are not tricks or hacks. Okay, so my question to you are right here. Would it be worth it to you if you made your first 100 sales? Would it be worth it to you to know what to sell and how to stand out? And what about, would it be worth it if you could grow this without running a single ad? If all this program did, if all this method did was to help you get those first 100 sales and accomplish these things, would it be worth it? Right? If it could help you stop spinning your wheels and gave you a proven, repeatable plan that then you can run with on your own, is that worth it to you? And that's what these strategies are. So what I'm going to go through, if you're like, I know I need a deeper level of strategy here. I hear what you're saying, Dylan, but how? How do I apply this to my shop? How do I apply this to what I want to sell? How do I choose a customer for me, for my shop? How do I fix my listings? Like, how do I apply this? Then I want to take you into what we have as our 3-week Kickstarter. So let me show you what this entails. And then I'll actually show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the outline. There are modules. Okay, modules are simply lessons, and it's about how to create your money-making offer, which is really your shop, your customer, and your product mix. We take you through the full 7 types of products there. The second module is product ideation and trends, how to know if something will sell, because we don't want to just guess. That's such a waste of time. Instead, we run it through our 10-step opportunity checklist. And then module 3, we run through full shop and listing optimization. And then module 4 is pricing strategy and how to get those first few thousand orders, not to mention the first 100, right? This is really to take you for your first few thousand orders. And then module 5 is using stats, how to make decision with your stats. And then we have tutorials, coaching call videos, and bonuses. And then finally, there's some really exciting things we've added in here. And I'll show you the valuation as well. So first, as far as our steps and tools, the 7-module course, that's valued at $1,200. The 80+ hours of our strategy library is valued at $19.97. There's over 10 hours of recorded coaching calls by myself, valued at $497. Our ultimate Etsy financial workbook, valued at $47. Our Etsy Loss Leader Guide, valued at $27. Our More Better New Framework, valued at $27. Our social media and marketing calendar overview, valued at $27. Our 7 steps to skyrocket your sales. our 7 days to crafting your shop, our ultimate Etsy course product design checklist, and our Etsy policy and marketplace safety series. So the total value of this is $49.47, so $4,947. But we have an amazing opportunity that we have not opened up to the world before. And this is by joining today. You're not just getting it for $9.97, but we actually have an opportunity to get this for as low as $48. $48 a month. Okay, $48. So let me kind of show you specifically what this looks like. And then if you are one of the first 100, we'll put the link in the chat if you know you want access. But if you're one of the first 100, you will get a Q&A session with me. And that is going to be happening in the next month. So the first 100 people get that Q&A session with me, and we are limiting it to the first 100. So let me show you exactly what this looks like, because right, you want to know what you're getting before you get into something like this. So let me take you through specifics of what this looks like. Okay. Perfect. You can still see this. Great. So we are putting the link in the chat, and you can see it's all here. It's super, super simple. So you can do the $9.97, you do 2 payments of $547, and when you open it, this is what it looks like if you want one of those options. But if you want the $48 option, you can just click here. It's right in here, or click right here, and it will actually take you to the $48 option, and that's with Klarna. So it's super, super simple. You're just typing in your email. You're saying, yes, I realize it's not refundable, and then continuing. Super, super, super simple. Okay, so let me show you specifically what it is, because right, a lot of us, we don't want to buy something unless we can see it first. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is a welcome video that we made for you. And then as far as the course goes, there's a course and then there's a library. So the course is going to answer a lot of your questions right now. Okay, I see someone in the chat says, it does not seem like this program is for me. I have an old shop. All my products are handmade. So we work with shops that are over 16 years old. So this would help you even if your shop is over 16 years old. I also, Melissa, was a handmade business primarily. And that is what this course was built from, strategies that work specifically for handmade as well. So whether you sell digital, handmade, print on demand, vintage, sourced, whatever you sell, these strategies are for you. And let me show you specifically why. So first of all, we take you through targeting the right customer, fixing your current customer. If you have an old shop and we need to fix that, why we're not choosing a niche, why we choose our customers first, and how to choose your customers. There's a download to go with this as well. And then we teach you how to utilize the handmade and alteration categories, vintage and supply categories, digital and print on demand categories, and then full updates to the creativity standards, as well as the 7 types of products to have in your shop. So we want to have those different listings with different purposes. And then I do full case studies on all of this. And module 2 would take you through understanding if something is a good idea for you. Would this sell on Etsy? How many of you are thinking, would this product sell? Would this product sell? Is this a good idea? Right? That's what people email me every day. Is this a good product idea? That's why we just have a simple checklist to run your ideas through to know if it's a good idea. We also teach you how to make winning designs that stand out. And then module 3, if you have an old shop or an existing shop, then this is about fixing that and then creating new listings in the right way. So how to open your shop if you haven't opened it yet, and then how to fix your listings if you have listings, or how to create new listings in this way. So how to do SEO, tags, titles, descriptions, how to do site merchandising, your launch listings, all the different components of your shop to have high traffic and a high conversion rate. And then module 4 is how to get those first few thousand orders, including some social media as well. A lot of people want to know our Facebook and Pinterest strategies, and we do cover those here. And then module 5 is really how to look at your stats, how to look at your stats in a simple way to know what actions to take. Now, some of you do print on demand, so we have specific tutorials for that where you want to learn print on demand. And then we have coaching call recordings for you here. Now, our topic library, this is a sampling of our topic library from our full program. And this is where there are 46 lessons that you can access. You can cherry pick what you want to learn more about, but whether it be finding your customer, whether it be how to use the 7 types of products, whether it be how to compete, whether it be how to do loss leaders, how to do branding, how to complement your handmade business, how to do vintage, how to do print on demand, how to do digital, how to do graphic design. And these are very beginner level introductions as well. And then photos and mock-ups, how to do it with your phone if you're doing handmade, handpicked, or altered. And then how to do mock-ups if you're not doing photos yourself. How to do shipping, how to do SEO. So it's very beginner friendly, right? 101 level friendly. I explain this like you are a 5th grader. So if you are more, let's say older than 11 years old, or if your comprehension is beyond age 11, you should be just fine. And then the sprint, right? How to start implementing the sprint. And we have e-commerce news covered as well. And then we give you all these different resources, checklists to make sure that you know what to do each day, what to prioritize in your shop. And then the first 100 people will be invited to this Q&A. So this Q&A session is right here. Here we go. And that is later this month. So the first 100 members will get this. Okay. Now, let's see, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Yes, if a lot of this went over your head, just know today I went over the what, but not the how. So getting that personalized guidance really is the how part. Okay, so if you're like, yes, I know I need this, I know I want to be one of the first 100 to get in that Q&A, then all you'll do is pick out which option is the best for you. And this option here gives you as low as $48 a month. And usually the first payment is not even due for 30 days. Okay. Do you need to use Everbee or pay for other Etsy software? No, you do not. And honestly, with a lot of what you're already paying for, you could use that money that you're paying for subscriptions and instead just use it for the $48. Yeah, that would be an easy way to go. Do we do shop audits? So this is not our Ultimate Etsy course and coaching program. However, if you do join as one of the first 100 people, you will be able to ask questions about your shop, and I will pull your shop up and really show you what to be fixing. Oh, thanks, Raylene. Someone asked, what conversion rate is good? It depends on your price point. Sometimes we look for 10%, sometimes we look for 2%, sometimes we look for 6%. It always depends on your price point. All right, now if you're thinking $48, oh, I'm so nervous. Okay, how much money are you leaving on the table? And let's look at some results. So every month we put up a post and we say, how's it going? Let's see here. And we can pull open, we're almost at the end of the month here, but we can pull open this one from last month and you can scroll through and you can really see the transformation. Now, some people are much further ahead, like 66,000 in a month, right? If you're a beginner here, which most likely you are, right? Here's someone who just almost made 30 sales with crochet, right? That's just getting started. This person made 15K on Etsy. Let's find a couple other transformations. This person just made their first 1,200. This person, they share, I made 200 sales in the last 2 months. I had less than 200 sales before I started my journey with the course. And that was after a year and a half. So in a year and a half before our program, they got 200 sales. Now 2 months with our program, they got over 200 sales. So that's what we look for. We look for the transformation, right? Before the program, $257. After the program, The next month, 1,300, right? So she's just trying to double her sales every month. Lifetime access. Yes, this one is lifetime access actually. Okay, let's answer. If you're still here, I'm sure you have some questions. So let me go ahead and answer your questions. Because these are some questions that other people asked before joining. Now, if you're thinking, well, do I need a lot of time for this? I'm worried I don't have enough time. Okay, you do not need full-time hours. One of our clients actually went from $800 a month to $8,200 a month with 10-minute-a-day pockets while parenting a newborn. We also, I would say, have this philosophy where this isn't meant to take over your life, but it's meant to really fit into your life. So whether you work full time or you are raising kids, really this strategy is designed to fit into your life. And if you've been thinking about this, you're like, oh, I just need more time to think about it. Okay. Look at what month it is. Okay. If you think about the last 6 months, do you want the next 6 months to be like the last 6 months? Most likely, if you're here, you've been thinking about growing on Etsy. You've been thinking about opening a shop. You've been maybe thinking about fixing your shop. Has thinking about it changed anything for you? Has thinking about it improved anything? Has thinking about it made you the money you're looking to make? Right? If not, right? What if you spent $48 a month to have a full game plan? A full game plan, $48. Now, maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to sell yet. Perfect, totally fine. That's where we start. We can help you identify the right customer and the right product mix. Okay. What if you already have started your shop? That's totally fine. Really, the key though is having someone who's ready to take action. So if you've already started your shop, I would say this is only right for you if you've recognized that what you're currently doing is not going to get you to your financial goals. Because if you've not realized that yet, if you have not hit rock bottom, then you're most likely not ready for advice. Okay. How long does it take to open a shop on Etsy? With this program, you can open a shop literally in the next few hours. If you don't have a product to sell, do we help you find a winning product? Yes, our entire first couple modules are all about finding the right products. Okay, yeah, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Yes, it truly is only $48 a month. I see someone asking, is it really only $48 a month? Yes, yes. Okay. What if you're not tech savvy? Totally fine. We have people in their 80s in this program who don't even know how to get on Zoom, right? Only know how to make phone calls. People who don't have smartphones are in this program. So no fancy software, just simple tools, video walkthroughs, click by click, really easy to follow steps. And then what if you're not a designer or not creative? Totally fine. You really don't need to be. Most of our students are using templates and free tools like Canva, and we have design workshops and lots of design tutorials. Now, if you feel like, oh, I've tried Etsy and I'm failing, or I have failed, I would say you didn't fail. You just didn't have the strategy. So I would say, of course, if you're guessing and you're not an expert in this, I would expect you to fail, right? I wouldn't expect you to land on the right strategy without having any experience or success previously to really build off of. So just because you're not successful now, it doesn't mean you won't be successful. Can you cancel or do you have to make all 24 payments? Great question. So with this, you will see there are 3 options. You could do $997, 2 payments of $547, or the 24 payments of $48. So you're all getting the same exact product. So if you are doing the 24 payments, you still have to pay the 24 payments, right? It's like if you had a car payment and someone else paid in cash for a vehicle, you can't choose to make one payment and still have the vehicle, right? Because you got it. Exactly. Now, very important to note, Klarna only works if you are in the United States. So if you are not in the United States, then it would be one of these two options. Exactly. And you still get instant access anyway here. So how do you select the Klarna option? You go to the link, you click enroll, and then this is if you're in the US, you click on Klarna, you type in your email, then you type in yes, you understand it's not refundable, and you click continue. And then it will allow you to put in your phone number. Definitely should not have put my cell phone here. Oh my God. Okay, and then it will send you a code that you log into, okay? Okay, so that is how you do Klarna, and you just go through the process. It will ask you to take, at the very end, to take a picture of your driver's license, because it does want to verify that you're not your 10-year-old child who stole your credit card and, is impersonating you. It will ask for a picture of your driver's license and then a quick selfie on your phone. You can do this all on your phone. All right, we have Brian here. You asked a great question. You had a shop since 2019. You're making over $250K a year. And since 2023, your sales barely get you to 40 or 50K a year now. Would this be for us? Brian, that is a huge drop. We've helped so many shops like that. Some, well over $1 million a year who dropped down to similar levels, actually. So Brian, this would be a good starting point. I have a feeling you might want some coaching, however. So this would be a good starting point. And then if you want to upgrade to our program, our full program, if you join with this offer, you can actually credit the amount you've paid towards the coaching program. Great question. Great question. Okay, let's see. I'm sure you have some other questions if you're still here. Okay, what about inventory? Some of you are wanting to do handmade. Some of you don't want to do handmade. Whether you want to do handmade or not, you can be so successful. I teach clients to go from almost nothing to 6 figures monthly with every category. So we've done this with digital. We've done this with print on demand. We've done this with handmade. We've done this with hand picked. We've done this with sourced. So really with every category we have helped. Now, you don't need to have inventory or a big budget. You can always start with something like digital or print on demand and then add in handmade. But yes, $48 a month is an investment in your business. However, my question to you would be, do you think that having the full game plan would help you make $48 a month in profit? Go ahead and answer that in the chat. I'm curious. Do you think that having a full plan would help you make $48 a month, right? And most of you have $48 a month that you could carve out from somewhere else, whether that be subscriptions that are not useful, or whether it be, one less drink at Starbucks every week. Is the course recorded videos, or do you have access to different trainers? This is not a coaching program. This is done on your own. It's self-paced. That would be the right word. It's self-paced. Self-paced. And I would also ask yourself this: if you're not willing to invest $48 a month in your business, but you're willing to spend 20 hours a month on the wrong steps, what is your time worth to you? What is your time worth to you? Most people, right, could make $48 in a few hours. Most people, a few hours, worst case scenario. Are you spending more than a few hours in your shop on the wrong steps every month? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I see some great questions. Are there additional add-ons or ongoing monthly or annual fees for new modules or software updates? No, any new things we add to the program, you get access to. You do not have to pay extra for. Okay. If you are interested in our coaching program, that is a different program. That is very different. But I would say if you are just looking to get your first few hundred orders and you're not ready for coaching, this is perfect, right? Okay. And yes, is it possible to get a store audit with myself? Yes, if you are one of the first 100 people. Yes, one of the first 100 people, you will get access to that. Okay. Any other questions? I'm here to answer your questions. Um, okay. Any other questions here? Well, I'm sure you have some more because these are common ones. Is this just for women or moms? No, absolutely. We have all ages, genders, backgrounds, and experience levels. Can you join if you live outside the US? Yes, we have over 35 countries represented among over 4,000 sellers that we work with. Now, what if you're not sure this will work for you? Okay, thinking about this will just keep you safe, right? It will keep you safe, but it will keep you stuck. Deciding is what moves you forward. And I would ask, how long have you been thinking about improving your shop? Right? Growth is only going to happen outside of your comfort zone. So if you are sitting here scared, just picture a year from now, right? It's another year ahead, another year older, but you're still stuck and you're not a year closer to what you want. And that is so sad, so depressing. And that's what this is designed to help you get through. It's right. In the next year, we want you growing leaps and bounds faster than you currently are. We want you another year closer to your goals. And it's not just about Etsy here, like this is about your life, right? Why are you even doing Etsy? Go ahead and put in the chat, why are you doing Etsy? Is this about financial freedom, time freedom, purpose, having that feeling of accomplishment, having that pride in your creativity? What is the reason you're even doing Etsy? I'm sure it's not to waste your time. Because if you're stuck here and you haven't even gotten to your first 100 sales, or if that 100 sales happened over years, or things are just slow moving and you're stuck in the mud, you're not doing this to waste your time, right? You're not doing this because you enjoy pain, right? You're not doing this to frustrate yourself, right? And yeah, Sarah, it's refreshing to hear someone say you don't need 100 products in a niche. Absolutely. We have clients with less than 30 listings making over 20K a month. So, and I've seen moms out there who haven't made like any dollar in their shop in years turn into 10K per month businesses with this. I've seen people who were creative and artists who are depressed that no one's enjoying what they've created light up again once people finally purchase what they've been building. So really, you just need a plan here. In the first 100 people, we'll unlock that Q&A with me. So if you're wanting my eyes on your business, that is the way to make that happen. Okay, great question. How many months does it take to get through this? Really good question. I would say if you did an hour a day, you should get through this in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks with about an hour a day. Some of you want to get your family out of debt. That's a great reason. Yes, if you pay this amount, it would go towards the coaching program if you did upgrade to our coaching program later. Yes, exactly. Great question. Okay. So I would love, right, as we kind of wind down, I would love for you to just take a second to think about your why. Like, what is the why behind your shop? If you haven't opened it yet, why are you wanting to open a shop? Is it your time freedom? Is it being there for your kids? Is it paying off debt or supporting your family? Is it finally believing in your potential? What is the reason you're doing this? If we pay, let's see, do we have to promote on social media? You're not cut out for being an influencer. No way. You do not have to show your face on social media. If you purchase monthly, can you cancel a subscription? This is not a subscription. I want to be very clear about this. This is not a subscription. This is a payment plan. This is a payment plan. Okay. So, right, you have 3 options for how to pay the total amount. You could do 1 payment, you could do 2 payments, so 2 months, or you could do as low as 24 months. Now, you don't have to do 24 months. You could do 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, 15 months, 18 months, 24 months. You don't have to do 24. You could absolutely pay this off early. You could pay it off by the end of the year. Once your shop's making money, you can just pay it off early. That's totally fine. And there's no payment penalty. But this is not a subscription. This is not a subscription. It is a program that you get full access to right away. Immediate full access. You receive everything that you've purchased immediately. So you're not paying, a percentage of what everyone else paid. So it's not a subscription. Oh, Ashley, your why is you have health issues. So having strict hours has been stressful. You want to be able to work on your own time. And that would be awesome. Sherry, Sherry's amazing. Sherry, you purchased our program and made the money back in just a few months. You guys can see that. Yeah, totally. How long should it take to get 100 sales? Jesse asks. A good goal is 100 sales a month when you're starting out. Now, if your shop has a negative quality score and if you've been shadow banned, it can take a little longer to get you pushed out of the mud. But like we showed here, right? We have people like Shelby, started a shop mid-November, December, 0 to 46 sales, so didn't quite hit the 100, but then the next month hit 400 orders. 6.9% conversion, so that's not bad. And then the next month, 360 orders, 8K revenue. The next month, 8,500 revenue, 489 orders. It's about 1,400 orders a few months in. Amazing. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? I am here. Let's see. Okay. So as a recap, if you're in the US, you can enroll for as low as $48 a month. And you guys, if that is not a no-brainer, we have never offered this publicly, and this is only available now. The first 100 people will have the opportunity to get that Q&A with me. You'll automatically get added to that Q&A with me where we can go over your shop, your questions, your listings, and you can get my eyes on everything and give you clear directions on what to prioritize. All right, everyone, so excited to see your results with this. Cannot wait to see you in there, to see the transformation, whether you're starting a shop or fixing a super old shop that's just kind of stuck. We're really excited to have you on board, and I cannot wait to see your transformations. All right, we'll see you guys in there.